It's now time for the #1 podcast in iHeartRadio. It's Your House is Key, the podcast that opens the door to your dream home. Hosted by the remarkable Dannel Shepard, he's your trusted guide in the world of real estate. Whether you're buying your first home, selling your current one, or simply curious about the market, this podcast is your one-stop shop for all things real estate. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your host and my good friend, Dannel Shepard.
Well, that's right. It's your favorite realtor, Dannel Shepard, and it's Your House is Key podcast. And guess what? Again, you're right. We already told you. We talked about the 10 challenges right now because the buyer said, "Oh, I heard your podcast about the sellers. Can you finally put our questions out there too?" So I had to call my guy, get in front of the camera, and we had to listen. Right focus photography, jump through, got me in. We in the studio, brick by brick. We putting the podcast together for you. So let's go, buyers. Are you ready? All right. Well, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share as we cover today the questions that you sent me. Top 10 buyer challenges, especially in this first half of 2025 real estate market. Ready? All right. So let's roll. So number 10, Dannel, is it normal to feel completely worn out from house hunting? We put in multiple offers, but nothing's sticking. And honestly, we're exhausted. And it's just buying a home. Is this just how buying a home works in 2025? My bad on that, y'all. Here's the thing. Yes and no. But so what you want to hear is me to say yes, right? Because right now in the 2025 market, it is emotional fatigue that you will feel. You will and it's very real right now because there's a lot going on. We have so many uncertainties go on of things that we can't control, whether it's rates, whether it's this, whether, there's been jobs, there's been so much, and not to go down that path, there's so many other outside variables that has impacted the market. But here's the thing. When you have the right realtor, like me, matter of fact, it should be me. But when you have the right realtor who helps you understand and map out and have a strong strategic plan on if this doesn't happen, it's okay. This is what we're going to work on. This is what we're going to do next. And each house honestly should get better and better. And each strategy of your you said it was multiple offers. Well, guess what? You should have a reset game every time. Be able to reset, get back together, take a deep breath, and understand you're not the only one. And guess what? It's just the beginning. And, while people are talking rates and some areas, the inventory is not high, but always remember, you're in competition. You're always in competition with someone. So just make sure that you are putting yourself and the offer in the best light as possible, but understand it will take time. And what did we hear all these years growing up? Anything worth having never really came too easy. So you might have to roll up your sleeves, lace up your boots, and hit the ground a little bit, but it will be worth it. Trust me, it will be worth it. But again, a realtor like me, you would laugh at it. You would enjoy yourself. Our job is to remove some of the stressors the ones that we can, try to block you and shield and remove many of them as far as possible. So there you go. Hopefully that helped you. Number 9, I think we found the perfect house, but the neighborhood feels a little off. Okay. All right. Where are we going here? How do we make sure we're not falling for a house that's in the wrong area for us? Well, first of all, you should go back to one of my prior podcasts about, doing the test drive. You definitely want to test drive your neighborhood, during the morning. If you get away at lunch break, you want to drive through during the school hours, at nighttime, on the weekend. You want to make sure that area is right for you because this is a huge investment. And this is something, again, drive through, walk through. You want to spend a couple weekends in that area. If it's coffee shops that you like, if it's a mall, if it's open markets, or like where they do like the neighborhood markets where they sell honey and all that stuff, whatever. Or do you not like the gas station down the street? Those are things you really need to write down. And like the first one, have a strategy, have a plan, have not a do's and don'ts, but a will and won'ts. Will accept and won't accept. And stay true to it. And if it feels like you're settling, again, ask your realtor. Again, if it's me, I'll give you all the advice in the world. And before I continue, buyers, if you already signed your buyer agent or buyer broker, some people call it different, but if you already signed your buyer agreement to work with the agent you're working for, listen, questions is questions in the inbox, but I cannot truly advise you on what to do in very specific case on that very specific home because you have a realtor. I love my license, I love my life, and I love my family, and I'm not risking any of that for y'all. So I just want to throw that out there. So always consult with a professional that you've hired to represent you. And if you want it easy, I can't tell you to choose. Actually, I can't. It's my podcast. Hire me. I got you. All right. So yes, date the neighborhood, guys. Date the neighborhood. Test drive the neighborhood. Understand. And every night won't be perfect. See if they got kids. You want a kid-free zone? I can't tell you that. Some people, like the community at night and having kids run around. See what trains. There's so much you can do to see if the neighborhood's right for you. So I would say date the neighborhood. Number 8. Okay, it says, there are so many loan options. FHA, VA, conventional, USDA. The list goes on, right? And don't even get me started about down payment programs. Okay, I won't. How do we know which financing path is actually right for us? Well, I'm glad you asked that because guidance do matter. And with the right realtor and the right team, meaning lender as well, they will understand what financial programs, whether it's grants, whether it's down payment assistance, whether if you just need it for a better rate or if you actually need the free money. First thing you must do is get pre-approved or take the proper steps to get pre-approved so you actually understand what your credit score is, what your DTI, debt to income ratio is, what these factors are. And then it'll start to pull back some of those layers so you can truly understand which loan program works for you. And let's be honest, if you're not a veteran, VA's out the bucket. If you're not buying rural land or so many acres or certain qualifications, USDA is out the bucket for you. So you're down to 2, conventional and FHA. Obviously, if you're an investor, there's other things, but that's not what it's asking me. Listen. Take the proper steps. Understand your financial situation because that's the only way they can tell you or a lender can work with your realtor as you give them permission to discuss your financial situation with each other on what works best and how you can present your offer in the best light as possible. Because here's the thing, as a team, we will help you make your dream come true. So pay attention to some of those words I emphasized about what we or you should do. So hopefully that helps you out. But I'm not a lender. I don't want to tell you what's specific, and I can't. But together as a team with the right lender, we can do so. Number 7. Hey, y'all, listen, where's my drink on this one? Woo, I thought the Sellers podcast was crazy. We're supposed We're supposed to close next week, but now we're hearing about delays with paperwork and title. How often does this happen, and what can we do about it? Oh, I like this one. This is easy. Often. How often? I just dealt with it. I had a house. The township said one thing, actually it was Reading. Actually, no, Laughlin. City of Laughlin said it wasn't a multi-unit. And the other one said it was a multi-unit. According to the bylaws and the rules, the house had to be registered this way, so title had to wait, and we had to go back. Delays happen, right? But understanding what the delay is, whether it's title, whether it's with the loan paperwork, or just getting some things right. I would rather it be a little longer and right to happen so fast and be wrong. I was in that situation too. No, there was a mistake, not putting anybody out, and I was a listing agent. My client bought the house in cash. When you do cash, title is sometimes different, or it was ran different. But here's the thing. We didn't understand that there was a cloud or a break in the title until it was time for me as the listing agent to sell the house. It took exactly a year, actually 300 and I think it was 68 days to get it sold, because title had to work out an issue. They had to rezone it. They had to open it back up to the family. They had to make sure all the heirs knew about it, because how the person sold it to my client when they were a buyer at that time, I didn't represent them. They were buying it cash. So the process went a little bit differently. But in order to make sure this never happened again, myself as the listing agent, my client as the seller, and the buyer and the buyer's agent took the time, a year and some change, to make sure it never happens again to the next person. So does it happen often? Very often. Is it all the time? No, but it does happen, and it's okay. As long as you understand, ask the proper questions, and again, ask the realtor, ask the title company, why is it? You're allowed to ask questions, and it's okay. So hope that helps you. Oh, and that house did close. We all sold, and we were happy, and Mary moved on. All right, so we are number 6. Ready? The inspection just came back, and now we're learning the home needs thousands in repairs. Why don't sellers fix these things up front? And how can buyers avoid these surprises? Well, if it wasn't an everyday honey to-do list, a seller doesn't always know about these surprises. That's why you do an inspection, because there are some things that people don't know about their home. When you lived in a home for so many years, every day, yes, you keep up, yes, you update it, but there's some things you don't really know. If your HVAC is running every day and producing, the AC is moving or the heat's getting hot, how do I know that it's something truly wrong in the actual mechanic system? How do I really know that I need a radon system when I bought it, I didn't need it, and now all of a sudden I have radon, or it was overlooked? There's so many things, right? But as a buyer, the question was, how can a buyer avoid these surprises? You did right. You had an inspection. That's why I personally don't advise buyers to skip or waive inspections. Some buyers are comfortable. Some buyers are contractors. Some buyers are flippers. Some buyers are who have uncles and dads and cousins, and they are okay with skipping. That is a plan between you and your realtor. It is very thin line on what advice I could truly give on how, but I believe in inspections. When I'm a realtor and I buy my own personal investment properties, even if it's for buyer's knowledge only, I'm getting an inspection because I want to know. I'd rather spend hundreds than thousands, like this question said, later because I didn't do my due diligence and I skipped a step. So that's how. The easiest, safest way. Get inspections. And property disclosures. Woo! Make sure you read them and make sure you ask questions, because property disclosure, there's only a few reasons why property disclosure should not be filled out. Stay tuned and I'll talk about that later on. Number 5. Every home we love ends up in a bidding war. Should we be writing escalation clauses or waiving contingencies just to win? It feels risky. Well, that's a slam dunk or reverse alley-oop from the last question that I had, whatever, but they go hand in hand. You love the house, they always in bidding war, and should you be writing escalation clauses and waiving contingency? So first and foremost, please, and I'm going to say this as serious as I possibly, consult with your realtor who's an expert advisor about what works best for you. Generally speaking, if I do a listing, I speak to my client. Most of my clients don't want an escalation. They want to know what you really think my house is worth. Sometimes, did you not know, Mr. and Mrs. Buyers, sellers don't give you a second chance to do a highest and best offer. So however you look at it, every offer should be your highest and best offer. And when you function that way, I can't say it's going to stop you from being in the bidding war. And yes, you're always in competition. Always remember that. So if you feeling froggy, jump, leap. You got to take the chance. Like, because if you don't, somebody else will. And I mean it, somebody else will. So escalation clauses, that's a discussion between you and your higher expert realtor and your advisor about what you should do and your lender understanding. There's so much you can do. You could probably put more money down. There could probably be a different loan type. There's so many other options. Waiving contingencies, I will not give advice on that. I have a strong feeling on what you should and should not do. Again, I do believe, I know you're saying this is a PC answer, but I want to be respectful for the game. Some people have beliefs on what you should and should not do, but I do believe in a well thought out, strategized plan with you and your advisor. That's the only answer I can give you guys. I'm real out here. If I give you all the sauce, then you don't need my bottle. So I got to keep some of my sauce in my bottles. Going to. Hey, shout out to my lemon pepper fire. You know what I mean? She ain't show. I'm just joking. Question number 4. We're seeing so many houses that are clearly overpriced. Why are sellers listing them so high? And how do we know what a home is really worth? Overpricing is a common issue that sellers ignore. And you hear me say this before, because we had such a high during COVID where prices, and here's the thing, the average median price of homes are still going up. Okay, so let's put that out there. But at what rate? It's not at the alarming speed as during COVID. And when you're selling something that means something to you, that your kids or your family or your pet, my first, my only, there's emotional. Residential real estate is an emotional transaction. Understand that. So regardless what the data say, some sellers are like, well, I feel I should have more. Well, I think I should have more. Well, my neighbor did, and my buddy is telling me, or my aunt who's a realtor has told me this in California or in Florida or wherever. There's so many bugs in people's ears that sometimes allow them or have them lose focus, or, they truly don't pay attention to the comps. But comps do matter. Data does matter. And that will help them stay in line. And how do you know? Well, again, you need an expert. You can pull your own comps as a buyer and see what people are paying around. And if there aren't any comps, the appraisal will tell you. And some people like this, some people may not. If the house appraised, you never pay too much. Well, I don't want to say that. If the house appraised, then it was worth the value of that offer at that time. If the house does not appraise, that means it's too much. The bank doesn't feel it can hold the weight of that offer, of that price. They're not willing to loan on that amount because it's not working. So sometimes you do go in the dark and you just take a shot at it. And it could work out. Buyer, if it doesn't appraise, they sell it to you for a lesser cost, or you walk away or split the difference, whatever. If it doesn't appraise, or let's just say if it does appraise, guess what? You didn't overpay. You put an offer on a house at $300, it appraised for $300. So again, you win. Option number 3, or scenario 3, let's just say You put an offer for 300, 250, whatever your number is, and at 300 or 250, it's now worth, the appraisal came back, it's worth 260 or it's worth 310. Guess what? You just walked in with instant equity. So it's really hard to find out sometimes unless you have the appraisal. Do want to run your comps. Try to get as much data as you can, but that's a good question. You try to stump me on that one. I like that. Number 3, how are we supposed to compete with cash buyers? We're pre-approved and strong financially, but we keep losing out to investors flashing cash. Here's the thing. I've beaten cash offers. There's other expert realtors out here who has beaten cash offers as well. Cash is not always king. Look at your contingencies. Look at the strategy. Look at how you present the offer. Look at, your closing times. Look at, there's questions that can be asked. There's things that could be done that can help you beat a cash deal. So listen, guys, don't fret because cash offers are out here. Don't fret because there's multiple offers going on. Because there's finance, even people here, FHA buyers beating out cash offers. There's conventionals and VA loans. They were strong financially individuals, that are truly beating these cash offers. It's all about presentation and communication with your expert advisor and your lender, which together you guys make a team. That's the best way I can tell you. But listen, cash is winning, but not every deal. So don't be discouraged. I promise you that. This market is financial buyers are out here winning, not just cash buyers. Number 2, why does it feel like there's nothing on the market? Every time we find something decent, it's already pending. Is it just how low inventory works in 2025? Hey, now that, I like that. So, exactly. Short question, yes. But let me explain it. That is how tight or short inventory. But what I would like to tell you is, again, don't fret, because the inventory, we are starting to see a little bit more as the months go, as people start to see, okay, the rates are going to stay where they are. We're starting to be more comfortable. There's not too many more uncertainties going on, at least as of today, in the world that we can't control, that can impact us, whether here nor there. I'm not here to discuss. But what I'm saying is, inventory is still not matching the demands, even though inventory is rising. There's still pent-up demand, but sellers are now saying, heck, we might as well take our shot too. Buyers are out here. We need to be out here. So let's do it. So is it possible? Does it work? Is it short? Yes. But what I will tell you, buyer, if you feel froggy, jump. If you think you want to go see the house, go. If you got to make sacrifices in this market right now. If you got a meeting at work, yes. If you can divide and conquer a soccer game and go look at the house and come back, or you got to figure out what works, but you got to make sacrifices to get to the houses early and often. And sometimes we tell the sellers that, your first offer sometimes is your best offer. So it depends on how fast you get into it. Depends on how fast you're aware about what's going on in the market. Are you getting are you in a portal? Are you getting constant updates? How often are you talking to your realtor? Are they having you move fast enough? Are you out to the races? Or are you, hey, I'm busy this weekend. I'm tired. It's after 5. I can't listen. I'm telling you now, I've told buyers, I've client, and we laugh at this to this day. I had a conversation. I asked them, hey, when you go in the bathroom, do you take your phone with them? Yeah, then why you don't answer? It's some people that do. That's you TikToking, you text messaging, you reading and everything else. Answer my phone call. I know what using the bathroom sounds like, but guess what? My job is to make your dream come true. You know, some people will, Dannel, that's too far. That's uncomfortable. That's my private space. Okay, well, that could be the difference of going to see the house at 3:00 or getting in at 8 and they already got 6 offers and now you're offer number 7, or you could have been the first one that stuck out. I'm not saying that's the answer. What I'm saying is, are you making sure you make the proper sacrifices to put yourself in the light, as well as keeping your realtor accountable to keeping you abreast of what's going on in your local market and your houses? Hopefully that helps you. Number 1. Dun, 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 dun. Ooh, people always like to talk about this. So let's get to it then. Interest rates. Interest rates are crushing our budget. We're pre-approved at one rate, but now payments look way higher. How are buyers dealing with these rising mortgage rates? Well, rates have had a huge impact, and that's a great question. They all are. They've had a huge impact for the first half of the 2025 market, right? And I'm not going to make light of any of that. A lot of it, there's been jobs. There's so much, again, things that we can't control. Whether it's, the question is, how do you combat that? How do you help? There may be down payment assistance programs. So first of all, before I even get that, interviewing the right realtor, making sure they have the right resources, talking to the right lender after you find your right realtor, and then, like a question I addressed earlier, making sure that you are disclosing all, whether it's financial hardships or any financial situations that you may be in, so that they can run you properly. And some people do certified buyers, which are better than pre-approved buyers, which are better than, you know, there's so many steps, right? You got certified buyers. Some people can close I got people who can close in 2 weeks. There's pre-approved buyers and there's pre-qualified. No one wants to hear pre-qualified anymore. You pre-qualified, I'm just stay in the house. Get pre-approved, or if you got a lender who can do pre-certified, then do it. But here's the thing, right? Get you a team who's going to strategize. You've heard this more, and I'm going to repeat it, just like when I'm on the news. You want to get your experts, get together, get in a huddle, like it's a sports. If sports teams can huddle up and draw plays, and they just out there sweating and shooting and running the football, whatever it is, why can't you? You're making thousands and $100,000 investments. Get a strategy, get a game plan. So again, how do we combat the rates? So you get you a team. The lender will tell you, based off your DTI, based off your credit score, if you do down payment assistance, or if you do this program and don't take the money, this program can help you with your credit, or will help you with the interest rate, versus taking the quote unquote free money, because all free money ain't free. Pay attention to my last episode. We talked about that with the lender. So again, you can do a program for rates. You could do a program for money. You could do a program for, there's so many programs that you can do. There's so many things, so many options. You can get gifts. You can do buy downs. There's so many weapons in the bag, but you need to have the right team that got the arsenal or the weaponry or the tools in the garage that have just options for you. And that's honestly how you combat it. So hopefully that was helpful to you guys. Listen, again, I want to thank you for tuning in to your favorite realtor, me, Dannel Shepard, with the Your House is Key podcast. Please remember, if you don't do nothing else, like, subscribe, and share. If you just got one nugget or none, just share it to somebody else. This may be information. You might want to talk about me and talk about how my head look. It's fine. Share it. Let somebody else laugh, because along the way you may learn something. You know how to contact me. You know how to reach me. If you don't, 513-703-0370. It's down here on the screen somewhere. You got my handles. Reach out, share it, and give the people what they're looking for. Don't keep it to yourself. And let everybody make their dream come true. Signing off, your favorite realtor, Dannel Shepard, Your House is Key podcast. And like always, remember with me, your house is key. Peace.
Thanks for listening to Your House is Key with Dannel Shepard. Each week, Dannel dives into essential tips, insider secrets, and expert advice to help you navigate the exciting journey of home ownership and home selling. From understanding market trends and finding the perfect neighborhood to even securing financing, staging your home, and closing the deal, there's only one guy that gets it done. Dannel Shepard, right here at yourhouseskey.com.